When winter's nights brings winter's chills, and icicles hang fae windy sills, as the snow lies white as milk, soft and pure like the finest silk, as last orders March night's death, and we again to lift our graith, we think no our wayward rolling, or the reeling us we're strolling, on our way towards our hame, where luck's our frustrated dame, was tempers growing ever higher, with the vengeance o' a forest fire. To this rage rolled Rab the Ranter, who loved a dram and a bit of banter, but what took to lateral thinking to fill the gaps atween the drinking. But Rab's wife didn't like the brew, and there was nothing she could do. She telled him, "You're a drunken fool that ne'er should hae left the school." She said that through drink's expense, Sculwing seemed to show mere sense, like how you sat and spent your money, drinking beer and thought it funny. And the last time ye were pissed, the wet patch showed ye clearly missed. And at Saturday's local fun day, ye went tate and came back on Monday. She telled him, "Shape up or I'm off, to fin mysel a classy toff, one wi' a banky or dosey healthy, but sobering up we could be wealthy." Now women, when yous open your trap, we dinna want to hear this crap. We ken fine well just what we're doing when we stop listening to what you're saying. So the scene is set. One Saturday, Rab was out in company. The banter was flowing fast and loose, drinking wine at a good friend's house. And at his side, big Glenone, wha for years and years they'd known. Rab knew him like he was his brother, they'd been fou for days together. The stories grew bolder and bolder, the clock marked the night getting older. Rab had poured the last glass of wine in. It tasted fine. Glenone told me her funny stories about his smoking days and glories, as outside the moon lit up the snow as temperatures reached 15 below. The time had come for Rab to leave. He almost looked as if he grieved at killing his joy and leaving the banter, as through the door went Rab the Ranter. The moon was full and perched up high, amidst a clear star-spangled sky. The nighter and the light looked nice, like tiny diamonds made for ice, but Rab was full and also prone to singing when he's on his own. But Rab wasn't free for foolish notion, and followed them with a keen devotion, just like the rain falling earthward bound as it lies in puddles on the ground, or like the river as the sea awaits to swallow up its surging spates, and like the darkness to the light as the moon appears and brings the night. Behold the road like a sheet of glass, he'd already fallen on his ass, and as the frost had chilled his clothes and nipped his fingers and his toes, he carried on along his way, counting a stagger wi' a sway. He decided to take, as it was dark, the shortcut through the old swing park. By this time he'd reached Cherry Road, where squashed at the corner lay a toad, and by the Gearden fu' of winds where the sly old fox rakes through the bins, and by the gable end windy light where the lassie stripping gied such a sight, and past the house with the big black dug that once but half the postman's lug. Rab reached the start o' the track, the woods had hid but lay in black, as merrily he made his way, for as a child he used to play. Well, things then were so innocent, as many a playful hour he'd spent, riding his bike and playing in swings, but swinging now means other things. Rab reached the old bod Gearden's wa. Close by he heard a hullet caw. The screech had gied him quite a scare, and nearly caught him unaware. And though his heart was palpitating, he walked on contemplating what made his wife Fossey twist it, sullen, dour and say tight-fist it. As once she always wore her smiles, but now she's like a chimp with piles. Inside him there was a question burning, would she ever tire of all that gurning? As Rab neared the door in the Gearden wa, he heard these voices screaming caw, and creeping forward to the door there then came an unearthly roar. So focusing, he pierced through a crack to see these figures draped in black. Neds and junkies round a fire, passing joints and getting higher, as iPods, iPhones and an MP3 blasted out songs for your man Jay-Z. And at the centre, the Uber Bam, a cheeky sod by the name of Tam, Wad frizzy hair and wan glassy, for by fause teeth he'd only 3. He leered at them and spurned them on, and encouraged them all to sing this song together. And just for fun, I've got 99 problems, but I bet Jane one. Rab was bemused like ne'er afore, as he seen lying upon the floor a skippet cat fae Burberry, an old hash pipe made fae clay, a shell suit that once was fine, each smudge was the colour of muck, 5 bottles that once held bucky, 5 rabbits' feet that once were lucky, and among all this a shapely Nedette, a skank by the name of Bernadette, a minger, and no refined at all, and facially she wasna braw. Now people, don't get me wrong, if she was stunning and she flashed her thong, I would gladly stand and stay or maybe ask to join in some way. But a dirty bitch fu' a disease, with drawing in cheeks and bloodshot ease, she could gie a red-faced to a sinner. She'd been ridden more times than the Derby winner. As Bernadette began to dance, she held them all as if in a trance. She gyrated her hips and she thrust her pelvis, as good an impersonation as I've ever seen of Elvis, and showing off her feminine charms, waving suggestively with her arms, to each one that was haeing a smoke as she rubbed herself about their leg. But this may sound a wee bit corny. Rab was starting to feel quite horny, and he thought that it would be a laugh, so he shouted out, "Hey, get them off!" And as these words had left his mouth, there came the silent, sobering truth, as each one charged across the floor in the direction of the door. As wasps attack to protect their nest when they feel threatened by some pest, as Doug grabbed letters for the postman's hand, no gieing them time at all to land, and like a hare afore the hound, chased for its life across the ground, so Rab runs with them gieing chase with a grim vengeance on their face. Rab, you silly fool, they'll lay you out like laying a stool. At hame lurks your wee wife Julie, angry, but she loves you truly. So run like hell and don't be slow, and keep a heed of all that foe, and I will the road to bonnet inside, into the field for a place to hide. But all the fence Rab could make, to lose his coat he had to shake, for Bernadette had grabbed his hood and was holding on tight and good. She shooked and pulled and let out a scream like something fae a hellish dream, as Rab just slipped his shooters back and left her waistcoat in the dark. Now, whoe'er this tale of truth will read, drinkers o' the ale tak heed. If ye partake in beer or wine and cutty sarts run through your mind, think ye could be left looking off a glaikit. Remember Rab the Ranter's jacket.